I'm Nicolai. I come from startup Migrants. We are not a social enterprise, but an enterprise with a social mission. So I'll talk about migrant entrepreneurship. And you all know these companies. And some of you might know who the founders are. But not everyone knows this, that they all have a migrant background. That we also have a lot of migrant founders. So one of the things Startup Migrants does is that we collect data on entrepreneurship in all municipalities and in Germany, Kreise, to see how people do. And as you can see in Europe, in some cities, migrant founders are in the majority, But the trend is not that great, In Berlin, the number of migrant founders has fallen with 16% from 2019. So, and Frankfurt, same story, and this is the story in many big European cities. So the pandemic was sort of a turning point. So why do migrants not succeed in Europe as well as they do in America and the UK? Well, let's be honest. You get bad advice. Or often, they have no network, so they get no advice. And I can give you an example. Would you recommend your son or your friend to start this? Or would you say, yeah, I really see you want to go into the hair cutting service industry. But if you add some technology and you start thinking about franchise, you can actually build a very valuable company. Our impression is that most migrants in Europe, Norway, Germany, wherever, are advised to do this if they get advice, whereas Europeans are advised to do this. And then we can continue. What is the main challenges? Well, basically, migrant founders start solo entrepreneurship. Einzelunternehmen in Germany, Enkeltmannsforetak in Norway. This means that you run your business at unlimited liability. Yeah? People with unlimited liability in Northern Europe, we live in a welfare state. They lack a co-founder. Why should you have a co-founder? Well, yeah, you should have a co-founder because co-founders know stuff that you don't know. But there's also another reason, and that is that if you get sick and you're alone, everyone in the company is sick, and that sucks. They have no network in the business world and struggle with sales. And this is particularly true in Norway. Actually, in Norway, we have what we called, in Norwegian, it's called tillitsbasert næringsliv. It means that we trust one another. Another way of putting that is that we know one another. And I find this is actually a big difference from working in Germany and Norway. In Norway, when I'm going to sell something, I start looking through my LinkedIn and I start thinking, who do I know who works there? And I start working through the network. Whereas in Germany, we actually do more cold callings. And of course, many migrant founders start without an accountant and they spend time on the wrong things. And of course, we don't succeed because we're not able to retain international students. There was one person here who said, higher education, bigger chance to succeed. Now, look at this graph. This is the international students in Norway, Germany, and Sweden. It's going up. Now, the remarkable thing is that most of these international students would like to stay in our countries when they're finished, but most of them leave. And they leave because they're not able to be connected to the local business ecosystem or to the job market. Baden-Württemberg and Bayern is different. And I think this is really important. If we want to foster migrant entrepreneurship, we need to find the people who have a chance to succeed. So we start to look, where do we really, really succeed in getting migrant founders to the top of the pyramid? We succeed in sports and in certain kinds of, not classical music, but popular music. And what does these branches have in common? The talent pipeline work. If you come to Norway, Germany, Sweden, wherever you are, you go to the job center, to NAV, I don't care, and you say, I want to go do sport. Everybody can tell you where to do sport. Everyone can tell you where to go to do culture. Everybody can tell you all these stuff. But where do you go if you want to start a business? Yeah, in Sandefjord, you go to Start Festival. If someone tells you about it. So basically, we decided to create our talent pipeline. And we call it the preschool, startup preschool. And basically, we connect these guys with the local ecosystem. And we do this in many cities. Why do we connect them with the local ecosystem? Well, it's because 90% of all companies get their first sale in the city or municipality where they're operating. And during the preschool, which is a very intense program, we say that you shall have two takeaway, yeah? The first one is that you shall have the building blocks of a local network that can make you succeed. So know about the local business ecosystem, the local support structures, some local founders, hopefully some local funders. And the second thing is that you shall go out with a very good pitch deck. And why a pitch deck? Well, basically because if you have a good pitch deck, that is the entry point for funding. It's the entry point for funding from private investors. In Germany, it's the entry point from funding from the startup stipendiums, So it's the thing that gets you into the door. And the second thing is, it's a visual business plan. And going from a good pitch deck to a business plan, it can be done, but going from a business plan to a very good visual presentation, that's sort of hard, often hard. So we've been doing this since 2021, and we have educated 961 people. 52% of them are women. This is the Scandinavian countries that are pulling up the stats. They don't have to report to us, so we know that 60 plus have started a limited company. We only support people who start a limited company. We don't believe in sole proprietorships, And most of them have gotten funding. And this is where we're operating. And as an end service, we actually also compare your local ecosystem to neighboring cities and say that, okay, in this city or this municipality, there's something really odd because we're not able to attract, for instance, women. So that's it for me. Thank you.